Hey there, hope you're well. End of the week, actually just heading round to change water. Seems a Groundhog Day a little bit. So I got up at 3. The irrigator was going to finish about then, and I'd sort of lost track a little bit of where the flood irrigation was up to, but it wasn't going to come to any harm anyway. Got round and Brendan gave me a hand to set the irrigator up yesterday afternoon, and we just had the reel on the piss a little bit. It wasn't quite square we've been pulling the hose out with the AB line, with the tractor with the AB line, and it was a bit cockeyed. And anyway, what's happened is the hose reel hasn't fed onto the reel properly. So yeah, I got up at 3 and it actually disengaged itself. It had done the right thing. That's one thing that's good about this thing. It just stops. It's still pumping water, which doesn't matter, but it doesn't keep winding and break something. So it had about 2 hours left, so it should be, what are we, about 6 now? It had about 2 hours left, or 2.5 hours, I reckon. So I just sort of was able to pull the hose around a little bit, and then actually hooked the hydraulics up on the tractor and pivoted the barrel just to get it a bit square. So hopefully it's fed the hose on properly, but it was just feeding it all on the hose on one side. It wasn't actually pulling it across, so that's all right. So yeah, actually just went into the gym after our access at our local gyms, 4 a.m. So went in there and did a session in there, which was good. Coffee and egg and bacon roll from the bakery, and now we're just about to go and start the day. So hopefully it all. I actually turned the floating pump off just for we're having a battle getting the water around to, just with the crap in the channel, getting the water around to where the pump is. So I just turned it off and just let the water catch up a bit. I might even finish it tonight maybe, or in the morning. I'll just see what happens. What else? I'm gonna head back down south on Sunday with a load of corn, so I'll get the truck loaded today. I fueled it up yesterday. Just need to give the windscreens a wash, so I'll load it and just duck into town and weigh it. Brendan's gonna get to and shift the ewes and lambs over here where we're watering onto the irrigation, onto our dairy block is what I was going to say. And we've got the fences back up for where we're going to plant the corn, so we're just going to lock them in there for a couple of weeks and flog it out. And Tony will just be floating around. He's going to give Brendan a hand, and there's a few maintenance jobs that bits and pieces we've been waiting on. So it won't be hard to fill the day in. So anyway, going to be a cracker. We've ended up, I don't think I spoke to you since then. We actually ended up the other night with 15 to 20 mil in a storm. So that was probably the biggest news. So very unexpected, which was fantastic. So it's bought us a bit of, look, obviously it's bought us time everywhere, but it's bought us a bit of time here where we've got this irrigator working, because the crop was going backwards pretty quickly. So we're just going to keep it going, and hopefully we can get across as much as we can with it. What else? We had I put a rain gauge up yesterday too. Now it had 60 mil in it. Now I don't know whether it's quite putting 60 mil on, but it's given it a fair drink, which is good. So anyway, we'll get here and see what's going on. Hopefully it's wound itself in a bit, and it's all finished and I can shift it. Yeah, that's the bit of the problem. We're all the hoses on one side, which is a bit of a bummer. Anyway, we'll see if we can get it to fire up again, and got to keep tricking it with what we're still having trouble for, and I don't know why. when we pull it out, it's not, I might give old mate a ring today. What's it gonna do? It keeps, yeah, when we roll it out and it counts the hose, how much hose it's got out, it's a bit short for whatever reason. I don't know why. It doesn't, it's sort of stopping before it gets the hose all the way back in, but hopefully we can get it to push over that side a bit. It's actually sort of jammed on the bloody frame, which is, yeah, might have been why it stopped too, perhaps. Anyway. Alright, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it feeds across there a bit better. But yeah, you can just see we've got all the bloody hoses on one side, which are playing the bum. Anywho, we've been trying to find some O-rings for these old pipes. We're having a bit of a battle, but as we're sort of getting closer to the pump, we're our pressure's picking up again, obviously. So I think we're up around the 70 psi, which has given us a good stream. So yeah, we're getting across a little bit. We've probably done, I don't know, 25 acres maybe, something like that. So yeah, it's better, as I've said, it's better than nothing. So there's not, apart from having to move it, it's pretty easy. There's not a lot of work in it. So yeah, anyway, we'll go and see what this flood irrigation's up to. We do have a bit of a mess here along here. I think I did mention it, but there was an old channel here that we filled in. So yeah, just didn't think about it at all. So with the pipes leaking a bit, we've got a bit of a mess, but that won't matter. Yeah, we can fix that in the summertime. Right, we are here, just looking. As I've got out of the year, I'm just going to go, pumps down there, I'm just going to go for a walk down here and just see where it's gone. Got some leaves here, and there is ever so slight ice on it. So there's been a light frost. This is the time of year when, like, we had frosts early, which you would have seen if you've been watching for a while. This is the time of year when we don't want frosts, because it does damage. It can do a lot of damage. We have had frosted crops before, and it's not a lot of fun. You sort of it basically just sterilises depending on what it is, corn, canola or wheat, depending on the severity of it. We can have light ones, but it's just how long it's below 0.4. So, if it's only below 0 for half an hour, it's not so bad. But if it's below 0 for 4 or 5 hours, it essentially just freezes everything, as you could imagine. So here, just looking, we do have some heads out. So we might be all right here where there's a bit of moisture where the irrigation is. But yeah, out the back, we've got a bit more elevation out the back as well, but we have had frost out there before. We had back in 19, I reckon, we had a really good crop of canola on that paddock of lucerne that we did the winter clean on there. Yeah, and we actually had a -10, and we were flood irrigating country at home, actually where we grew the corn last year. And it actually had froze the top of the water out in the bay, and the water was running underneath. Yeah, I had ice I'd never seen anything like it. And yeah, we had a really good, it was the best crop we had because it was dry. We ended up cutting it for hay because it just nuked it. So basically the seed in the head just turns to mush and nothing comes of it. So I'm going to get wet pants here, but I'm going to wander out here and see what's going on. Our little pump's pumping too much water than what our channel can deliver, so we're having a bit of a battle here, but might move it along to the end of the channel here and run it till lunchtime or something, see how we're going. again, this country's hasn't been lasered, or it probably was lasered once upon a time, but we haven't watered it since we've had the place, so it's sort of a bit of a trial and error as to where the water ends up. So yeah, it hasn't come over here, so we'll move the pump to the end of the channel and run it for a little while and see how we get on. All fueled up, so we'll give it 5 or 6 hours or something like that. And yeah, we'll shift it down to the north there and try and get a bit of that done as well. So anyway, it's a bit before 7. We'll duck home and catch up with the fam before the kids head off to school. I forgot to get the camera out, so I've just moved the irrigator. I had to move it with the hose, with about 30-40 metres of hose still out, because it had, just the way it had rolled up, it had sort of bound up and didn't want to do any more. So yeah, hopefully now I've sort of got the drum squarer to the hose as it's pulling it in, so fingers crossed it should be right. Yeah, but I still need to ring old mate about why it keeps shutting off on us when it's rolling in. So, yeah, anyway, the boys are just here moving mob of sheep. I'm gonna slip back and it's really close. Slip back and start and get the truck loaded with corn for Sunday. Loading. Fast forward a couple of days, we're trucking. I'm going to keep my sunglasses on because the roads are that rough, it's going to shake the eyeballs out of my head. The Victorian roads are horrendous, and our little truck's not the most comfiest, so we've got a few rattles going on, which is a bit frustrating anyway. So we got on the road about 8:30, so we're probably over halfway. So no, just rocking along alright. Pretty cold again. There wasn't quite a frost this morning. I think I looked at them, I was a bit concerned. It was very cold yesterday. The wind was around the south and very cold. So I think we got to sort of 0.6 of a degree this morning, or got down to. So yeah, again, we don't want any frost. So anyway, we'll keep motoring down here. We've got probably good 2, maybe 3 hours in front of us yet before we get to where we need to be and get unloaded, and then yeah, a couple of hours into where we'll spend the night. Yeah, so anyway, we'll see what we can find. Not far to go, about another half an hour. Yeah, just thought I'd give you a bit of a look around. We've got the Grampian Ranges down here. Depression there with plenty of water in it. Has been apparently dry down here. I think the further south you go, the worse it gets, but it looks pretty good in this area. They have had rain lately. I know talking to the guy where I'm delivering the corn to, I think they had 30 mil last week, so the season has started to improve for them. Yeah, always said we'd been down here a little bit, and yeah, always said I'd buy a farm down here if we were going to move somewhere. Just pretty nice part of the world. Yeah, sort of presses my buttons, just whether it's the rolling hills and yeah, high rainfall. It does get pretty cold and wet and shit down here. That's about the only downfall, and pretty windy. So a lot of wind towers around down here. So, but yeah, season, I don't think they're having a ripping season, but it's still, the canola's still fence height, so it can't be too bad. But yeah, the grampians there in the background. All unloaded. Yeah, just had a good yarn to old mate. So it's good to get out and talk to different people and see how their operations run. Like they've got, I think he said he's got 1,500 acres here and running 3,000 breeding ewes. So they've got them stacked pretty high, tight down here. But yeah, they're sort of 28-inch rainfall, which, sorry, I should have worked that out in metric before I spoke to you. But yeah, it's probably twice the rainfall we get, so that probably allows them to do that. But yeah, anyway, all interesting. So yeah, we'll head east, head towards Geelong, and yeah, pull up for the night, and we'll go and pick some bird up in the morning. Morning, back into it. Just heading in for work camp last night. Just in Geelong. It's about 6:30, so we'll get there with plenty of time. Yeah, we'll just have to pull up and wait and see what the go is. So we've arrived at Impact in Lara. So yeah, we've just got sort of 4 other trucks here with me. Yeah, we'll give this number a call in a minute and find out what the go is. I just had a yarn to another bloke who's really good. He just told me what we need to do and what the go is, so very helpful. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Waiting. So they didn't sort of start loading trucks till 7:30. I was here about 7. I've been here an hour. There's been 3 trucks going in front of me. So as a special blend for the corn, so hopefully soonish it'll all happen. Anyway, just got to be patient. It's cold outside, so I'm sitting in the truck too. Morning. You probably gathered this one's over a few days. So the GoPro actually went flat yesterday after I got loaded, so it was about 3 hours to get loaded. So yeah, and then fought the traffic out around the ring road in Melbourne. Anyone that's been in that part of the world will know that's pretty ordinary on a good day. Yeah, so yeah, you get a bit of an appreciation for truck drivers that do it full time, because I definitely couldn't. I haven't got the patience. So I'm just over here. We've sort of finished the first section with the irrigator. The boys shifted it for me yesterday and we started it again. I just turned the water off last night. So I'm gonna, it's only sort of 7:30, so they're not here yet. So I'm just gonna shift the pump, and then we'll get to and shift the pipes. I've hurt my back, so I'm going to try and get it fixed this morning, or a bit of relief anyway. So I'm not much use for anything at the moment, which is less than ideal. Anyway, yeah, a couple of days sitting in the truck hasn't done me any good at all. So anywho, but lovely morning again. Crops it has picked up after the rain, which is nice. So yeah, but we've got it's a fair section here. I walked it yesterday where with the channel leaking that it's sort of watered, so we're going to miss a bit, and then yeah, we'll go from here just through. There's a channel at the end there where the wheat finishes, and then yeah, we'll just see what we do on this side. Again, the channel's leaked on that side, so we've got an area there that's wet, so I'm not too sure how much of that we'll be able to get. It's just getting The sun's really bright. It's just getting the pump and that close to the channel. So yeah, so you're not paddling around in the mud. But anyway, we'll get this thing shifted. Alright, today's gone to crap a bit, but anyway, so the boys got the irrigator shifted this morning, got the pipe shifted. We went to start it, and I had trouble yesterday with the starter motor on the pump. So it had died. I'd sort of tried 3 auto electricians, local ones. No one had the parts to fix it or had a replacement one. So I managed, the last place I went to, they got onto a supplier in Albury, which is about an hour and 15 away from here. So I jumped in the ute. Well, I was already in town, but yeah, I headed up to Albury and picked that up. Actually wasn't too bad because I was able to get the parts, a couple of boxes of parts for the header. Mechanics coming at the end of the week to do it. So $650 later, $660 later, we have a new starter motor for this pump. So we'll get it bolted back on and yeah, fire it up. I went to the osteo this morning for my back and it's still not much better, but anyway, hopefully it gets sitting in a ute for, I think I left here about 11 o'clock, 11:30. It's now 5:30, so I've been in the ute for a bit and it's, yeah, not brilliant, but anyway, this is where we're up to. So hopefully this all bolts back on the way it should. If I clip you blokes there, you can watch me do it. It should just be as simple as, ta-da! What do you know, it fits. So the actual starter motor itself's not as big as the other one, but it's newer and they don't need to be as big apparently. According to old mate that helped me, he was pretty good. That one in. So yeah, just the 3 bolts to keep it in. Hopefully this is the problem. Anyway. He used to be an auto electrician in our local town, but he retired and he would have sort of had this stuff on the shelf, but it doesn't seem to, the small businesses now don't seem to carry this sort of stuff, which is probably understandable given the cost of things, but yeah, it just makes it a bit tricky when you have a breakdown. You can't get it fixed straight away. Anyway, there should be enough to go on there, hopefully, in here in the box. So I had primed this up this morning, but we'll just see as to whether it's still holding prime now. Must be somewhere. There are. Tony, he got some spraying done, and Brendan's been working corn ground up. What are we looking for here? Oh, too big. Still too big. It's better. Actually was going to go for a drive tomorrow. I don't know whether I mentioned we bought some tines and stuff at an auction, online auction, for this strip tiller thing we're going to build, sorry. And yeah, Josh, his father's actually going to go for a drive for me tomorrow and pick it up, so that'll be awesome. That's going to save me a day. Battery terminal here. What do we got? The middle of the road. Fingers crossed. It starts on. This will be the next thing. Why won't we go? Interesting. It turns out that starter button's buggered. Anyway, we'll sell prime, which is good. We'll get a bit of pressure up and see how many leaky pipes we've got. Again, we've got these couple of little pinholes just irrigating a little bit extra, but the main joints are pretty good on the pipes this time around, which is good. So we've got it up to pressure, so we'll run up there and yeah, get it winding back in. Bit nicer here having this thing on. It's interesting. On dry ground, we're not paddling around in the mud. Righto, so we go next. What is it, 10 to 6? Next. So then we're just going to finish at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. So there we go. We should be, I think. Should be in gear, I think. We should be good to go, hopefully. I'll just give it a minute. Took a bit to fire up, which for whatever reason it was, you could hear the valve here working, the bypass valve. So again, we've got about 60 psi here, so we're getting good spread with it. No winds helping us. Oh. What's happened here? Alright, take two. Yeah, it's because it already started the program. Yeah, it just stopped because of water flow, so it's now going to speed up and find its speed again. We're sort of 25 metres an hour. Yeah, so we might set the alarm clock for, I don't know, 4:30 or 5 o'clock or something, and if it's back here by 5 it won't matter. Yeah, fingers crossed. All our pipes hold, and yeah, so we'll be, I reckon it'll take 3 shifts, maybe 4 shifts to get to the tractor from here. So that's at 40 hours roughly. And then yeah, we'll try and work out where we're going to go to from there, whether we can actually water the other half of this block without much mucking around, get away from this centre channel, or we can possibly hop over the channel and do a strip down that side. So if we jumped over the far, we wouldn't be able to come this way as much because we won't have enough pipes, but yeah, we'd nearly get this full width of this block. But anyway, we'll worry about that in a couple of days' time and just see what's going on. But yeah, hopefully it'll behave itself now. Righto, that'll do for this one. Yeah, just back at home, so it's been one of those days where you've sort of got a bit of a plan in your head and then it goes to poo and the plan goes out the window. So anyway, we're still getting a bit done. Just that irrigation, when it's not set up properly and that sort of stuff, it does consume a lot of time and you can't help breakdowns and that sort of stuff. Yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're getting something out of it, and yeah, keep watching on because there's still plenty to come. Yeah, thanks again. See you in the next one. Ta-da.